Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Slow Secrets. My name is Julie Spark and today I have invited one of my favorite activists of the island, Renee.
Hello.
And welcome Renee.
Merci.
So Renee is also the founder of the Ocean Walk. So about beginning of June, right? Oh, it was on World Ocean Day.
Well, it's 2 days before, June
Yeah.
6th.
Yes. I walked 2 laps around the island with you.
Yes.
But how many laps did you walk around the island?
I walked for 24 hours straight.
24 hours.
Yes.
Non-stop.
Non-stop.
Around the island,
Yes.
day and night.
Day and night through the dark night, and then watched the sunrise again and kept right on going. It was great.
I think the island's about 6K, right? So you must
between
have-
5 and 6K. So it ended up being between like 120, 130K.
That's a lot. Eh?
Yeah, it's a lot. I haven't done it before. That's for sure.
So what motivated you to take such action?
I am a dive instructor, and living on Gili, obviously, it's a small island. We're surrounded by the ocean. We see it all the time, and I've been diving for 26 years. So I think just seeing the changes in the ocean and learning more about them. I took a few online courses because of COVID. I had more time, and I was learning more and more about the number of things that are affecting the ocean, and I realized as someone who's very involved in my job and everything with the ocean, there's so much I don't know, which must mean other people who aren't as involved probably don't have any idea either. And I thought, how do I help people become aware of what's going on? And I thought a bold gesture was the way to do it. And 24 hours walking seemed like something people don't do all the time. So I thought that would get attention.
Yes, I remember you telling me, Julie, I want to do something huge, because to get people's attention, you need to shock them.
Exactly.
It's like, you are brilliant. You should definitely do that.
Yeah, so I came up with 24 issues, so the 24 hours just seemed like...
Perfect.
Yeah.
That is a very good number. I have to say, even myself, with everything you've been posting on social media and all the different topics that you came up with, I learned a lot.
Good.
So-
That was the goal. That makes me happy to hear it.
So if that was the goal, I think you definitely reached that.
Yes.
And not only that, I think what was really extraordinary and what marked me the most is that you really inspired the island's community.
It was beautiful.
And they gathered all together, and all around the island, everyone set up like little pit stops, right?
Yeah.
Feeding you and drinking.
And even just like having a bucket with cold water to put my feet in, so they'd
Yeah.
like little things. But it was amazing. Just the spirit on the island and the sense of community was absolutely just like a huge hug. And really, I couldn't have done it without it.
Yes.
I had different people to walk with every hour, and so even if I am just completely exhausted, they bring all their fresh energy and excitement, and we have a topic to discuss, and so there's no way I could have done it without the community, and it was
Yeah.
really, really lovely to see that bond.
It's so important when you do
Absolutely.
something so huge to feel supported, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it changes everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. it
And it's
changes
nice to get
everything.
reminded you're not alone in your mission or your passion.
Absolutely.
It's really good to get that reminder on a regular basis.
I mean, you really inspired everyone. I remember Rose saying, one of our island sisters, oh, next year, everyone's going to do the 24-hour walks, but we're going to relay each other's and we're going to make teams and it's going to become this ocean walk event and,
It's
we're
great.
going to keep raising awareness and everyone's going to... I mean, where do you see your ocean walk going in the future? Like, what's next for you?
Yeah, great question. The original mission of making people aware, giving people tips of what they can do and letting them know what's going on, that'll never go away. So on Instagram, Facebook, the website, I'm trying to put, information just a few times every other day or something, have a little, hey, did you know about this? Or here's something you can do. And then I try to put in happy things sometimes too, because it can get a bit overwhelming.
good.
Yes.
I love your quotes.
Oh, thank you.
What's the one I read? To change the world, start with yourself.
Absolutely.
Such a nice quote.
It's very true. And I think with so much going on in the world, and so we are hearing so much with global warming right now is such a hot button, but I mean, that's not the only thing. It's easy to get overwhelmed. Like, I'm this one tiny thing, and, it's too much, so you just kind of give up, and we need to be reminded, just, if every one of us just does what we can do, it has this ripple rolling effect. which
Yes.
is perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The snowball effect.
Exactly. And one thing I just love this story. It actually made me cry when I heard this. And I was talking to my father after the ocean walk was over, and I was saying, you get to a point because you're putting all this out into the internet. So you've got social media and you've got live stream of some of the walk and all of this, but you just don't know, is anybody watching it? Is it doing anything? And my dad, who works, he's retired, but he works at a hardware store a few days a week. He sent me a message and he said, I know you're wondering if you've had an effect. And he said, I pack a lunch whenever I go to work. He said, and in my lunch I have a little fork, and I've been taking little plastic ones, and he said, I've stopped and I bought myself a reusable fork.
Yay!
And he said, I did the math for the number of days I work, and that's, I don't remember the number, but it's X number of pieces of plastic that are not being used anymore.
That's amazing!
No, the best part is like 2 hours later I get a second message. I realized each of those forks is in a plastic package, so that's double the amount. So hey, I got my dad to stop bringing forks.
I actually have a bit of the same story with my father, because he always went to the Gulf and bought these plastic bottles of water.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So one day I bought him a really nice thermo, Gili Eco Trust bottle that's like a liter.
Yep.
And I said, now, you're going to refill that.
Exactly.
And
he does it.
And he does it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's really good.
He does it.
But no, I've been really blessed. I've gotten messages from people all over the world, actually, just little messages that they've, I had never realized that. Thank you for that tip. I've done this or that. So It's nice to hear that back. So for those of you watching, whether it's the ocean walk or any other cause, if it's meaning something to you or if you're changing something, just take 2 minutes to shoot a message off, because it's going to mean the world to the person that's putting their passion and their energy into it. It's just something we don't always think about. Like, you think it's this entity. But
positive reinforcement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feedback.
Absolutely.
Take the moment to do it.
It's really nice.
It's funny how you're talking about children inspiring their parents, because I find like even the generation after us, they're even the next level.
Absolutely.
And they're like inspiring their parents, that is like our age, to actually really become more like a zero waste living. It's for me a massive topic. I think this
we've talked about this before. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the next generation is so engaged and so just inspiring everybody. I love it.
Yeah.
It gives me a bit of hope when there's a lot of other things that are a bit darker.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, there is no choice anyway.
Very true.
With where we're going, it needs to act. They need to act now, and effectively, our children are gonna be first ones in line.
Absolutely.
So 24 topics.
Yes.
Do you remember them all by heart?
Okay, we'll see. Ocean acidification, aquaculture, coastal development, cetaceans, which is like your whales and your dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Those were kind of the beginning of the alphabet, and now I'm not going to go in order at all. Dead zones, sharks and mantas, mangrove ecosystems, seagrass ecosystems, coral reef ecosystems, deep sea mining. Oh, that's only 11. I'm not even halfway. That's terrible. Okay, wait. They're coming to me. Sea turtles, of course. Mm-hmm. Now I've got half. Okay, I'm trying to think of the letters of the alphabet.
Think of the people who you were talking about the topic with.
I know, exactly. Picture the people. I can tell you on the ones I just named who I was talking to.
With Andreas?
Andreas. God, that was the middle of the night. She picks one right in the middle of the night.
I was there.
It's like the darkest time. I'm so exhausted.
Dead zones.
Yeah, dead zones, which...
noise
plastic pollution, obviously. Noise pollution. Oil pollution. Now we're up to 15.
Dugongs, no?
No. Oh, yeah, dugong. Or, sea dugong.
Oh, that's cetaceans.
Manatees
as well.
and... No, it's not cetaceans.
No.
They're sirenas. It's
okay.
dugongs and manatees. Thank you.
I learn every day.
Yeah, there we go.
Learn every day with Renee at the Ocean Walk.
I love it. I don't think there were more animal topics, so it was more different things going on in the ocean, like...
Irresponsible tourism?
Yes, irresponsible tourism, the wildlife trade, sustainable fishing, destructive fishing. Now we're up to 19 at least.
Coral reefs.
I said that one, but yeah, for sure.
Coastal development?
I said that one. Maybe I'm not counting properly. Well, global warming, we didn't say that. Yep, so the last 3.
Yes.
Sand mining, which is something I didn't even know about until I started doing all this research. Invasive species and marine protected areas. So the 24, they aren't all horrible things. Like sea turtles are good, marine protected areas are good. But it's more the issues surrounding them, or maybe their current status, or it could be something that's really just not very good, like plastic pollution. Nobody's going to argue that that's a good thing, so...
Obviously.
But it's really about awareness of it. And some of the topics, like deep sea mining actually, is one that I found interesting because it's very much a hot button issue right at this moment, and it isn't happening yet. And of all the things that are happening that I discussed and researched and did all of this about, it's in the experimental phase, and the UN, the International Seabed Authority, is still working on who they're going to issue permits to or if they're going to issue permits. So it's actually one thing that people out there can really educate themselves on and sign petitions on and go to governments, because it's something we can stop before it happens.
Good.
Whereas on a lot of the rest of this, it's very much reactive. This is an issue we can all be very proactive on, which is nice to think about.
So if we had to pick 3 and then give very simple solutions that we can start tomorrow.
Yes.
For a person like me that has no clue about, or a little bit,
Yep.
definitely cares about, but has not really studied.
Yep.
What can I do tomorrow to make a change?
Tomorrow. I mean, it kind of depends what you're doing already. Some people are already far down that path. I mean, there's easy things like plastic pollution, obviously.
Yes.
Don't use single-use plastic.
Obviously.
No straws, no water bottles, take bags everywhere you go.
Yes.
I mean, that's not news to anybody. Certainly when you're walking, whether you're on a beach like we are, or if you're in the street, there's nothing wrong with picking up trash you see on the street.
Yep.
I mean, people in urban environments don't always realize that the drains on the side of the street, it doesn't go through any kind of a water treatment.
Yeah.
So if you're anywhere near a body of water, it doesn't have to be the ocean, it can be a lake, a river, whatever, they're all interconnected. Whatever ends up in that just immediately goes out into the water stream. So little things like seeing something on the street or on the beach, picking it up and putting it in a proper bin is something we can all do that makes a difference. Obviously with things like climate change, reducing the carbon footprint. So, turn off lights, don't use the air conditioning unless you absolutely have to. Walk, ride your bike, or if you have to drive, maybe, hey, I just forgot that one thing, don't go out and get it even though it's convenient. Wait and make a list and try and combine as many things at once. Take public transportation.
Be vegan for a day a week.
Absolutely.
Imagine if the whole population of the world would do that.
Yes.
A massive shift, right?
Absolutely. And then just because I was just saying that it's something we can be proactive about, I would say what you can do tomorrow is go out on the internet and find every petition you can find about deep sea mining and sign it. And really beautifully, a couple of months ago, some really big companies like Volvo, BMW, Samsung, they all signed that if anything comes from deep sea mining, they're not going to buy it. And the more companies that get pressure, the more that will actually stop it from happening. If you don't have demand, then that solves the supply problem.
Good.
So yeah, that's something else I would love for people to start doing.
What about the sharkies?
Well, certainly with sharks, educate yourself on what products you're using. Are there any shark products in them? I think a lot of people don't realize the number of cosmetics have shark oils in them. And I mean, with fish, sustainable fishing has become such a big topic right now, but I think not just fish, but Julie, you already mentioned being vegan for a day, but just thinking about the source of our food. What you can do tomorrow is pick one day a week where you're going to be vegetarian or vegan. Pick one day a week where I'm only going to eat local foods. And really think about the source of where your food came from and how much work went into it.
You actually often don't know, huh?
For sure.
I go to the shop, I'm on an island in the middle of nowhere. I think everything's seasonal here, right?
Yeah, but no.
So I buy apples, and my friend is like, look at the sticker on your apple.
Exactly.
It's coming from Argentina.
Exactly. And I mean, maybe you can learn enough about what's in season. One thing I loved when I moved to Gili 7+ years ago, I was really falling in love with mango juice, and you could get it all over.
Yeah.
And I got a mango juice everywhere I went. And then a few months later, I ordered a mango juice, and I'm like, no, it's not in season. And coming from the States where we fly everything from wherever, the whole concept, obviously I get it. I know what seasons are for food, but it wasn't something I ever had to think about. And I love that. And I think the more we bring that back, the more we connect with nature again.
I agree.
It's really going to make a massive difference.
I agree.
And another thing we can all do every day, again, it depends where you are and what your lifestyle is, but I really encourage everybody to connect more with nature. We're super blessed living where we are. But I lived 19 years in Chicago, which is a huge multi-million people city. And yes, there's a big lake there and it's beautiful, but it's just so easy to get disconnected. Kids nowadays don't realize that the meat they're eating actually came from animals, or the vegetables a farmer actually worked to grow them, etc. And even just going out and walking along a river and appreciating it gives you so much more empathy when you hear about what's happening to the planet, and it's going to just dig a little deeper and share that with your children and nieces and nephews and students as well. The more we love nature, the easier it becomes to respect it.
Take the time. I remember
Absolutely. And it's better for your mental health anyway.
Yeah.
For sure.
thanks to the global pandemic, actually. I
Yes.
think a lot of people have started going for walks. Permaculture gardens are
Yeah.
popping up in all my friends' backyards, and they actually love it. You
Yeah.
know, look at my tomatoes; they come from my garden.
Yeah,
And-
there's such a sense of pride. Like
Yeah.
I created life. It's beautiful.
But then also, when you taste that tomato,
Yeah.
you actually realize what a tomato is supposed to taste
Exactly.
like.
Without
know?
all the pesticides.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's really, it blew my mind.
And all those pesticides end up in the ocean and can contribute to dead zones. And yeah, so it's a win all around,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. And all the plastic ends up in the belly of the fish and then in us. And
Absolutely.
we are already very advanced in this story. I think I watched Plastic Paradise, which is an
Yeah,
amazing
it's an-
documentary, right? But then when I watched Seaspiracy and I saw the numbers that
Yeah.
are still increasing,
Dramatically.
you know what I mean? That I was shocked, you know, because I obviously live on an island. I'm zero waste. I have one trash bag in 6 months.
Right.
You know, I've got worms. We just give it to the worms.
I love that. I love
Everything
that.
chicken farm, eggs, chickens from our farm.
I love it.
And everything I pick in actually that mindset, like what is
Yeah.
the trash that I'm going to produce with this? And I will consciously not go to a place if they have styrofoam.
Yep,
You
same.
know, I will bring my box.
I actually deny myself food because I forgot to bring my container from home, or I'm really thirsty and they don't
Same,
have a
I
way to
will not
refill my
drink
bottle.
water.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, okay, I guess I can't. But why not? It's a small sacrifice we're making for a much bigger
I agree.
cause. Yeah.
I agree. I think everybody, this is thing that we can only do together.
Yep.
It is not something that we can do, just the two of us.
Absolutely.
I mean, we must pay it forward and we must all together make a difference. And I love that quote, small things do matter, because it does. Like, if you do that times, you know, the amount of people in Indonesia.
Yep.
I mean, statistically speaking, of course it's going to make a difference.
Absolutely.
So you can make a difference.
Absolutely.
It has to come from us, actually.
Well, and one thing, one of the little quotes on the Instagram account.
Yeah.
It's just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I really think about my own childhood and growing up and how culture has changed, and everything has become so convenient.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to just buy a plastic water bottle, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you can do something, just because it's easy to do, doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. And I think that's been lost a lot. So I think that's something all of us can do every day, is really think about the consequences of our decisions and our actions, and instead of just automatically doing something because we've always done it, or everybody's doing it, or it's not that expensive, or whatever. Maybe think about, okay, wait, is this really good for the environment? Is it good for me and my family? Is it the right thing to do? And it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it in the end. I
Big
just would love
picture.
for people to think about it.
Yeah.
I think that's
big
something we can
picture.
all do.
I mean, I really like these online challenges, you know, July plastic free,
Yeah.
because then you go into 30 days of, you know, any kind of challenge, you know, that will be an improvement for the planet, and you create a snowball effect and everybody gets in the train and does it. And in 21 days, you create a new habit,
Yep.
you know? So after these
Yep.
21 days, you've actually reprogrammed the way that you're going to live. Right?
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, the secret.
Yeah, and even if you're not totally plastic free after it, you've reduced tremendously just out of habit.
I love this quote. Anne-Marie Bonneau, what's it again? We don't need a handful of people doing
Yes.
it perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly.
I love this quote as well.
It's-
You told me that the night of the ocean walk when we were walking around out in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just immediately was like, that's beautiful.
I actually often think about this quote
a
for
great
my
quote.
life as well. Because sometimes you cannot also... what's the 4 agreements? You
Yeah.
know, and number 4 is always do your best.
Yep.
You know, because of course we're not perfect and we're
Yeah.
not always. Of course, sometimes, you know, I also buy a can of Coca-Cola. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the can is at least 100% recycled. I'm not gonna buy a plastic Coca. So get informed. You
Absolutely,
know? I think
that's
a
the
lot of
point.
people are not informed, and get informed is better to buy a can than a plastic bottle.
Absolutely.
And
And it's great if you can then recycle your can
wee.
and make
Oh,
the
wee,
effort
that's
to
for
do
sure.
so.
That's
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. But other people are like, oh, the can's better than the plastic. Now I'll just pitch it. Like, no,
No.
there's more
Get
to
it
it.
to the recycling. boat.
Yeah, for sure.
I think also it's much easier on an island.
Oh, yeah.
To be that conscious, then even if you just go to Bali, we don't have a compost in Bali, you
Yep.
know, so yeah.
It's very true. We're very lucky. I mean, we walk everywhere or ride a bicycle, so automatically that level
Yeah,
of
but I love not having that
Same.
footprint. I really
Same.
love.
whenever I go to Bali or Lombok, it's always a little jarring. Like, oh, it's so loud and quick, and
Yeah.
there's just a quiet, calm peacefulness to the
Yes.
bike and walking thing. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Renee, if
Yes.
you would give 3 action points to people
Wow.
to be more conscious about the ocean and her problems,
Yes.
what would you tell them?
Well, yeah. I mean, number one, inform yourself. You can certainly go on the Ocean Walk website and click on any of the topics and really learn.
I love your website.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I broke each of the topics down to say, what is it? Why is it important? What are the threats and the problems and what can be done? And there's tips specific to each thing. But I think awareness and informing yourself is the number one thing, because there's so much we do that we don't even realize the knock-on effect that it has.
Yeah.
So educating yourself is number one. Number two is kind of what I already said, like think about the consequences of what you do. And like Julie, like you said, none of us can do everything perfectly. I mean, I'm personally not going to be the person that goes and builds a bamboo hut in the middle of somewhere and never sees people again. But just deciding which are the things that you're going to do and making sure that you make those choices and you feel good about them, I think is important. And yeah, the third one is just don't take the ocean for granted. Like, it's a
Totally,
beautiful thing.
amen.
Our planet needs it. It produces more than half of the air we breathe. So if you want to look at it biologically, we have to have it. But even aside from that, there's so many studies about like people's moods and people's emotional like levels being near water, in water, and it's
Yeah,
just
wow.
such an incredible thing. So don't take it for granted. Take care of it, and go and visit it whenever you can. Take your friends and your kids and everyone to visit the ocean, because it's an incredible place.
It's really funny that you say that, because I've always, I don't know why, but I mean, I've traveled for most of my life away from my mother.
Yeah.
And it was always her presence when I arrived at the ocean. It was like
That's beautiful.
the ocean was my mother. And it also, I mean, I have a lot of fire in me, so water calms me.
Yeah.
So it always called me back.
Yeah.
I love the mountain, but like I live by the ocean.
Yep.
If I can say something, I think that today we have kind of created a variety of very bad habits,
Yes.
like for whatever reason.
Convenience mostly.
So there is a quote I really like from Paulo Coelho, who's my favorite author, where he says, it's almost like we have to unbecome everything that we have become so that we can be who we were meant to be in the first place. So,
It's so beautiful.
right?
I love it.
It's really like that, because I see it on a smaller scale on this island where they used to eat in banana leaves.
Yes.
They would make a massive krupuk, which would be their plate, and they'd eat the plate at
Yep.
the end of breakfast. And the coffee is always in, these tiny little fun glasses
Yep.
that I also love to use for wine because they're perfect. But and now they're all like plastic bag, plastic
Yes.
bag, plastic bag. No, why?
Yeah.
No,
Convenience.
banana leaf, back to banana leaf and back to the roots. And unfortunately, this plastic was invented by a Belgian guy and
It's true.
commercialized.
I was just talking about that yesterday.
But commercialized by an English guy. So anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm never pointing at who is responsible, because I think we all have our responsibilities. But
Absolutely.
I would say let's start creating some really good new habits that are beneficial not only for the planet, but also evidently for us, because she is our home.
Absolutely.
And, well, how many % of the planet is ocean?
71.
Voila. So we can say it's the blue planet, right?
Indeed.
I think that's all I wanted to talk
Chat
about
about?
with you, but I maybe think you might want to add something.
I just, if you're at all inspired by my funny little idea of walking in circles for 24 hours, I would love the support on the Instagram or the website, certainly. But even if it's not that inspires you, find what it is. And I was just thinking about this quote that said, if you come into a dark place in life, instead of cursing the darkness, light a candle. And I feel like that's what I was trying to do, and I hope everyone does that as well, because it helps the world, but it helps you as well.
Oui.
Yeah.
So where are you going to walk your ocean walk
Well,
this year?
so strangely, I'm leaving temporarily Gilier, that is my home. I'm moving to Maui in Hawaii. So I'll be there for sure next June. So next year, the ocean walk will be in Maui, another tropical island.
Yoo-hoo!
I was thinking about it. I said, maybe, for the next 10 or 20 years, every June I'll go to some other tropical island. It's not such a bad life.
Absolutely.
But, I'm still kind of thinking I want to, make it bigger. So if people are interested in starting up an ocean walk, whether it's a relay or however they do it, I would love to support, to help, and to maybe set up little ocean walks around and just get the word out there more and more.
Oh, I think definitely in Gilead there'll be some people walking around the island because you've created a new movement.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for being a guest on our podcast, Slow Secrets. Today we talked about investment, not so much about cryptocurrency investments or bonds, but I believe there is also investment in charity, and there is a lot of power in in a good deed.
Yes.
So it's really changed my life since I've started giving back. So I hope we have inspired you to give back.
Me too. Thank you so much. Thank you, Julie.
So, Renee, if
Yes.
people would like to find you
Yes.
and get in contact with you, where can they find you?
So theoceanwalk.com is the website. Tons of information on there, including links or trailers for some of the movies that you mentioned, the documentaries. Or on Instagram, it's at The Ocean Walk, the.ocean.walk. Facebook, The Ocean Walk.
I'll put all this also in the comments.
Yeah, but I would love to reach out to me and let me know what you're doing, or if any tips you have, I'm happy to share.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We wish you all a beautiful day and send you lots of love from the island.
Yes.
Bye!
Ciao.
Slow Secrets.